My question is, okay, could mermaids and mermen be part of the USOs, the unidentified submerged objects or submersible objects? Why not? Oh, shush, Ike, shush. Why couldn't they be part of the USOs? Why not? The Norman Chapel in Durham Castle, built around 1078, was probably the earliest surviving artistic depiction of a mermaid in England. It can be seen on a south-facing capital above one of the original Norman stone pillars. And it really looks like a real mermaid. Oh my God, that thing was, wow, that long ago already. God, quit it. Mermaids appear in British folklore as unlucky omens. That's probably why they think women are unlucky on ships, if you think about it. Yes, yeah, that was one of the big movies, as I remember, I think. Oh God, stop it. Several variants of the ballad Sir Patrick Spens depict a mermaid speaking to the doomed ships. In some version details them they will never see land again. In others, she claims they are near shore, which they are wise enough to know means the same thing. Mermaids can also be a sign of approaching rough weather. And some have been described monstrous in size, up to 2,000 feet. Wow. Mermaids have also been described as able to swim up rivers to freshwater lakes. In one story, the Laird of Lornty went to aid a woman he thought was drowning in a lake near him. A servant of his pulled him back, warning it was a mermaid, and the mermaid screamed at them that she would have killed him if it were not for his servant. But mermaids can be more benevolent, teaching humans cures for certain diseases. Mermen have been described as wilder and uglier than mermaids, with little interest in humans. According to legend, a mermaid came to Cornish village, where she used to listen to the singing of a chorister, Matthew Trahella. The two fell in love, and Matthew went with the mermaid to her home at Pendor Cove. On summer nights, the lovers can be heard singing together. At the Church of St. Senara in Zenor, there is a famous chair described by a mermaid carving, which is probably at least 600 years old. Oh, no kidding. Some tales raise the question of whether mermaids had immortal souls, answering in the negative. The figure of Liban appears as a sanctified mermaid, but she was a human being transformed into a mermaid. The Irish mermaid is called Mero in tales such as Lady of Gallerus. In Scottish mythology, Sisig is a freshwater mermaid, though little besides the term has been preserved in folklore. Mermaids from the Isle of Man, known as Benvari, are considered more favorable toward humans than those of other regions. Various accounts of assistance, gifts, and rewards. One story tells of a fisherman who carried a stranded mermaid back into the sea and was rewarded with the location of treasure. Other recounts the tale of a baby mermaid who stole a doll from a human little girl, but was rebuked by her mother and sent back to the girl with a gift of a pearl necklace to atone for the theft. A third story tells of a fishing family that made regular gifts of apples to a mermaid and was rewarded with prosperity. A freshwater mermaid-like creature from European folklore, she is sometimes depicted with two fish tails or with the lower body of a serpent. Of course, we all know Hans Christian Andersen's story, The Little Mermaid. The sea witch warns the mermaid that although she will be graceful, each step will feel as though she is stepping on knives, and that if she does not earn the prince's love, she will die of a broken heart, of course. The spell is worked, and the mermaid is found by the prince, who sees the resemblance, and he is betrothed to the daughter of the neighboring king, yada, yada, yada. We all know the story. A world-famous statue of the Little Mermaid, based on his tale, has been in Copenhagen, Denmark, since 1913. Of course, we all know that. Like I said, I'm going to break into song in any minute. Under the sea. No. They were not all salt water. And I can't pronounce this, but it's a Slavic counterpart of the Greek sirens and mermaids. The nature of them varies among folk traditions, but according to D.K. Zelenin, they all share a common element. They are the restless spirits of the unclean dead. What do you think of that statement? That the mermaids are restless spirits of the unclean dead. They are usually the ghosts of young women who died a violent or untimely death, perhaps by murder or suicide before their wedding day, especially by drowning. Rusalkas are said to inhabit lakes and rivers. They appeared as beautiful young women with long, pale green hair and pale skin, suggesting a connection with floating wigs and days spent underwater in faint sunlight. Yes, check that out, definitely. They can be seen after dark dancing together under the moon and calling out to young men by name, luring them to the water and drowning them. The characterization of Rusalkas as both desirable and treacherous is prevalent in Russia, the Ukraine, and was emphasized by the 19th century Russian authors. China. Mermaids are included in the Classic of Mountains and Seas compilants of Chinese geography and mythology. An early 19th century book entitled Jottings on the South of China contains 2 stories about mermaids. Hinduism, of course. Mamie water means mother of water in Africa, are water spirits venerated in West, Central, and Southern Africa, and in the African, the Caribbean, and parts of North and South America. Usually female, but are sometimes male, and are often femme fatales, luring men to their deaths. So, examples from other cultures: the Iaria, Brazil, and the Greek Oceanids, Nereids, and Naiads. The Ninjingo is a fish-like creature from Japanese folklore, and consuming its flesh bestows amazing longevity. Mermaids and mermen are also characters of Philippine folklore. Now all these places and areas where mermaids are supposed folklore, there is something behind this somewhere. There has to be. According to Dorothy Dinnerstein's book, The Mermaid and the Minotaur, human-animal hybrids such as mermaids and minotaurs convey the emergent understanding of the ancients that human beings were both one and different. Reported sightings. In 1493, of course, Christopher Columbus reported seeing 3 female forms which rose out of the sea, but were not as beautiful as they were represented. The logbook of Blackbeard, an English pirate, records that he instructed his crew on several voyages to steer away from charted waters, which he called enchanted, for fear of the merfolk or mermaids, which Blackbeard himself and members of his crew reported seeing. These sightings were often recounted and shared by sailors and pirates, who believed that mermaids brought bad luck and would bewitch them into giving up their gold and dragging them to the bottom of the sea. 2 sightings were reported in Canada near Vancouver and Victoria. One from sometime between 1870 and 1890, and the other from 1967. A Pennsylvania fisherman reported 5 sightings of a mermaid in the Susquehanna River near Marietta in June 1881. Now this, in August 2009, after dozens of people reported seeing a mermaid leaping out of the half a bay waters and doing aerial tricks. The Israeli coastal town of Kiryat Yam offered $1 million award for proof of its existence. February 2012, work on 2 reservoirs near Zimbabwe stopped when workers refused to continue, stating that mermaids had hounded them away from the sites. And this was reported by the Water Resources Minister. In May 2012, Mermaids, the body found, aired on Animal Planet, which centered on the experiences of former National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration scientists, showing a CGI recreation of amateur sound and video of a beach mermaid and discussing scientific theories. In July 2012, in response to public inquiries and the possibility that some viewers may have mistaken the program for a documentary, please. The branch of the National Ocean Service, it's a branch of the NOAA, made an unusual declaration, and they stated no evidence of aquatic humanoids had ever been found. Here we go again with the cover-ups. I think really it is again. A year later, in May 2013, Animal Planet aired another docu-fiction titled Mermaids, the New Evidence, featuring previously unreleased video evidence, including what a former Iceland geosurvey scientist witnessed while diving off the coast of Greenland in an underwater submersible. Here we go. It provides 2 different shots of what appears to be a humanoid creature approaching and touching their vehicle. Once again, NOAA released a statement. That was an actor. No, that's not been proved. Of course, there are hoaxes. The human divers, the AMA, are Japanese skin divers, predominantly women. They traditionally dive for shellfish and seaweed, wearing only a loincloth, and they've been in action for at least 2,000 years. They operate off the reefs near shore, and some perform for sightseers. But they're not mermaids. They know they're people. So there you go. Animal Planet provides these and said there were new evidence. And, of course, no is in there. No human evidence has been found. Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Michelle says, I don't discount the possibility of hybrids brought about by man. Just think what they've done with GMOs. Absolutely, absolutely right. But again, you're back with so many places, so many sightings. These people don't know each other, so how does this occur? Something is under there. Like they said, in the guy, he went down in the underwater submersible, and there were 2 shots of a humanoid, predominantly female, under there. So they could possibly be part of a bigger picture, the USOs, which we discussed last time on Encounters. So, do mermaids exist? Something does, that's for sure. I totally agree with that. But why couldn't it be related to the USOs they've been having sights about? What do you think about that comparison? Is it possible? Could they be part of the USOs? Because they're starting to believe that underwater, unidentified submersible objects have been sighted and found. They could be, maybe the story of Atlantis isn't so far-fetched. What do you think? What do you think? Could it possibly be that? Okay. What do you think? Okay, do that, Michelle. Really cool. Look it up. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.